Alright, so in this video, I'll be showing you how to modify and lubricate the Yuxin Square-1 M. So after the modification and the lubrication, the cube should be much better. It should turn a lot better. It should be more controllable. It should corn cut a bit better. Before this video does begin, I want to start by saying that I'm not responsible for how your cube turns out. So although these mods work for me, they might not be for everyone, and they are not that easy to do. So be very careful with modifying the cube, with making sure pieces don't break. Just be very careful. So in my opinion, the Yuxin Square-1 has three main problems. First off, the magnets are way too weak. Second off, the corner cutting isn't that great. And third off, the speed is a bit too fast for me. So pretty much this video will show how to fix all these problems with the modification and the lubrication. So now for taking off the caps, they are kind of difficult to take off, so I use a sticker peeler. I'm not sure what else works, maybe a knife, but that might harm the pieces, so be careful with that. So just take the sticker peeler, we're going to turn top and bottom like this, and we're going to put the sticker peeler pretty much right between two caps, and just put it right between the two. Pretty much just go right down, and the cap should come right off. And this cap should become pretty easy to take off as well. Same thing everywhere pretty much. We're gonna take the sticker peeler and then just like put it in between the pieces. That should take off the caps. Shouldn't be a problem. So for these ones, you can just take off with your finger. The first part of this mod is going to make the top and bottom layers magnet strengths a bit stronger. So what we're going to do is place magnets here and here on both sides. I placed some lighter magnets, and you'll see why in a minute, but you can place whatever magnets you want depending on your preference of what strength you want. You can also place them here in the smaller piece. I chose not to because my magnet strength preference is a bit weaker than other people. Also, they might interfere with these magnets, which we'll be putting in soon. So I chose not to put them here. I just put them here, but you can decide to put them here if you want to as well. So if you notice, I only put a really small magnet here that's pretty weak. And the reason why I do this is because this makes the magnet strength adjustable. So if this is too weak, all I have to do is stack another magnet on top of it, and that makes the strength stronger. The thing is, you can switch out this magnet for like stronger magnets or weaker magnets that will make the top and bottom adjustable by placing whatever magnets you want and stacking it on top of the weak magnet on the bottom. So in general, I just put weaker magnets on here because I can always stack magnets on top of it to make it stronger. That also makes it easier to play around with the magnet strength, so I can always take off this magnet, put on a stronger one, see how that feels, and play around with them. So after that, you should be able to feel that the top and bottom should be a bit stronger in terms of magnet strength. So after you're done with this mod, you can just take this apart, as you'll be needing to do that for the rest of this mod. So next we're going to add magnets to the edges, because the stock version doesn't have magnets in the edges, which is kind of annoying. But basically, just take off this cap by pulling under here. And the cap's actually pretty easy to take off. There we go. So this part you actually don't need super glue. It's actually just a slot right here. As you can see, I already put my magnet in there, but basically all I have to do is take the magnet and put it in there. You do want to make sure the magnet polarity is correct though. So put the magnet in here first to check polarity, and then take it off, and then you can put it into the slot. As for the magnet size, I'm not quite sure what it is. All I know is that it is quite a small fit, so you're gonna need some kind of small magnet to fit in here. I'm not really sure what strength or size mine is, unfortunately, but you can always ask around, maybe in the comments. So yeah, do that to all the 8 edges, and you should be set there. So now for the slice. Here's the slice magnets it has, and it is pretty weak, unfortunately. Since you can't really add magnets in the ball core, we're gonna instead put the magnets onto the slice, as you can see, something like this. So this is pretty straightforward. Just put magnets on the left and right, glue them in, and it should be set. I doubled them up to make the strength a bit stronger. I also use the same technique. I used small magnets in the beginning, and then I just stacked another stronger magnet on top of it to adjust the magnet strength. So pretty self-explanatory. Just put the magnets in, glue them, and you should be set. You also want to be careful with polarity, so check 2 first, and then do the slice move, and then glue the other magnets in. Make sure the polarities are correct. Unfortunately, when you add these magnets, the caps actually don't fit back on, so you're going to have to modify the caps a bit to make them fit on. So as you can see, I kind of cropped out this whole front part of the cap, and with this cap as well, I cropped off the whole front part of it. So I pretty much used this tool. I'm not sure what exactly it's called, but I just took this and then kind of pried open these parts and took them off, and I used the knife to smooth it off. I think you can also sand it down, but I think that's quite a lengthy process. But in general, just to ending it takes to get it to this kind of height. So pretty much shave it down quite a bit. So once it is shaved off, you'll see that the cap actually will fit back on even with the magnets in the core. Like that. So you're gonna have to shave off this front part for all of the 4 middle slice pieces and you should be set. So next is the B mod, and this is discovered by UTaCuber, I think. So credit to him. So before the mod it looks something like this. There's an upper dome right above this dome. That's right here, and the goal of the mod is just to shave off this top dome, and it's kind of exposed, but that's pretty much what this mod does. Basically the idea of the mod is that without the top dome you can kind of get more wiggle room for the pieces, which should allow for better corner cutting. So to be honest, I don't think this mod is that useful, at least for me, but some other people have mentioned that it's been really good for their cubes. There's not really any drawbacks of the mod though. It makes the cube a bit less stable and it makes it a bit faster, but those aren't big issues, so there's no reason not to do this mod really. So doing the mod is pretty simple. Just open this up. So there should be a dome here. All I have to do is just cut off the dome part and it should look like this when it comes off. So it should start like this and then just cut off this top part and you should be set. And here's a better view of the piece. And then a better view of this piece. So pretty much do that on the top, bottom for both slices, and when you put it together, it should look like this. The top is exposed and yeah. So another mod that you can do is the one that I made. I only have a name for it, so leave a comment below if you have any suggestions. Basically the purpose of this mod is you're going to make the corner cutting for the corners better. The edges corner cutting doesn't really matter because the edges already could corner cut everywhere pretty much, and doing the mod on those pieces are not that necessary. But for corners, it doesn't really cut places like this, and that's where this mod comes in. On the left is the unmodded piece, on the right is the modded piece. So as you can see, I cut off quite a big chunk of this torpedo kind of thing. So yeah, that whole part is pretty much gone. So pretty much what I did was I just cut it off with a knife, nothing special. So yeah. A huge thing though is that you don't want this part to be completely flat like this. You kind of want it to be slanted this way, I'm not sure you can see, but you want this piece to be a bit slanted to allow for the corner to cut. So like this way. Here's a brief demo of the corner cutting. So using an unmodded piece, can't cut here. Even like further down, can't really cut that either. And here's the modded piece. So here, pretty much no effort. Further, a bit of effort, but still not that much. Even here, we can cut it. So this makes the corner cutting quite a bit better for the corners. The unmodded piece can definitely not even cut close to this piece. For here I only cut off for one side, but for the mod you should do it for both sides and for every single corner of the cube. That means this torpedo thing is going to be quite small, which might cause some stability issues, but I don't think it's going to be a big issue. I obviously haven't done this mod to all my corners, so I don't really know the full effect this might have on stability and the corner cutting, but from the test, it seems pretty alright. The corner cutting is greatly improved, and stability seems pretty good still in the cube because of the magnets. And even this is cut off, like with this middle piece, I think it should be enough to hold the corner in. The more you cut in, gives you more corner cutting, but if you want more stability, maybe you can cut in a little bit less. This will give you a bit more corner cutting while keeping more stability. So here's a final look at the corner. It's not modded perfectly, but you should get an idea of how to mod it. Again, you're cutting off this piece, and you also want to make this slope like this. And then compare to a normal corner. Again, do this to both sides of the corner so you get even corner cutting throughout the cube. Lastly, I'll show a few mods that could help the performance of the cube, but I didn't really do this cube. So you can round off these pieces. This should give you a bit more corner cutting. So around here. For edges, you can round these pieces. For the corners, you can round this corner. For the edge, you can also round here and here for better reverse corner cutting. For the corner, this should also work as well if you round these pieces a bit more. And if you round this a bit more, it should also help with reverse corner cutting. Although you don't want to like round too much because the plastic's kind of thin right here. I hadn't really bothered to do these last few mods because the performance of the cube's quite good already as it is. But if you want to try something else, this might help you. Lastly, for lubrication, I used Lunar. It is quite a fast lube, but I used it for a few reasons. First off, it makes the cube really smooth, which I really like. Second off, a technique I have found pretty helpful is that if I over lube a fast cube with fast lube, it slows it down while keeping it really nice and smooth. So yeah, that's pretty much why I use this lube. So pretty much kind of over lube the cube with light lube, and that's how my cubes feel pretty nice. So I'll be trying to hit every contact point pretty much, so around this ball is definitely very important. And for those who find the slice to be way too quick, this is also very important to get a lot of lube on the sides of the cube. I'll try to put the lube more on the inside rather than the outside so it doesn't get on my hands. So yeah. That should be pretty good. There's also a few more contact points down here, so put some lube here. And of course also in the inner ring, and make sure to put it towards the inside so it doesn't get on your hands. I'll just put a bit of lube on the edge itself on the key contact points. And the corner as well. So from here I can just reassemble the cube. Put the screw in. I try to get it about this tension where it's pretty much barely above the surface of the nut. This gives it a decent tension, I think. So the cube is a bit lubey on the outside still. I can always wipe that off. That's not really a big problem. If the cube is too fast, too slow, or you want to adjust it still, you can always add more lube to it without a problem. Like this. You can add lube here. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully your Yuxin Square-1 is as good as mine. And for those wondering if it's my main, it's pretty close. It's pretty much as good as my Volt right now, and I just don't break, so that's a huge plus. So I'm really considering this to be my main. So yeah, thanks for watching. Look out for a review coming out on this puzzle soon.